All right. Okay, what's up, everybody? My name is Michael Music, and the conversation that I want to have today is around the third chapter of Think and Grow Rich, and it's on the chapter of autosuggestion. Okay, so yesterday I read basically half the chapter. Now today, I just wanted to complete this little reading and just sum up the instructions that are laid out in this chapter because a lot of people go into this book thinking it's just a book, right? It's just a book. You read through it, and by the end of the book, by the end of the reading, you will have completely understood what has been said. However, this is not just a book, right? This is literally an instruction book. Okay. So it's like, I can read it all I want. I can even talk about it on live all I want. But at the end of the day, am I doing what it is suggesting that I do? Okay. So here we are. I'm gonna read on the summary of instructions for the chapter on auto suggestion and just have a brief conversation throughout it as I go along. So, summary of instructions. He says, the fact that you are reading this book is an indication that you earnestly seek knowledge. It's also an indication that you are a student of this subject. If you are only a student, there's a chance that you may learn much that you did not know, but you will learn only by assuming an attitude of humility. If okay, so here's a big point. If you choose to follow some of the instructions but neglect or refuse to follow others, you will fail. Okay, so what what piece of the puzzle are you missing in terms of this, right? What am I doing, right? Am I doing all the instructions that were laid out in chapter 1 on desire? Have I formed my mastermind principle? Am I following persistence, right? Am I doing the labs when I need to do each day? There's much more instructions laid out here, right? Am I only doing some of them but not all of them, right? Do I truly understand the instructions laid out on faith? Okay, he says to get satisfactory results, you must follow all of the instructions in a spirit of faith. Okay, so right. The question is, do you believe these instructions can help you, and are you doing them, just leaving it up to faith that okay, I understand that this book has created more millionaires than any other book out there, right? Am I following these instructions with full belief that they will work out? Okay, so now I'm going to summarize, the instructions in chapter 1 on desire. The two what I'm about to read here is sort of linked to chapter 1 on desire. So just listen up and you can read with me here. So he says, first, go into some quiet spot, preferably in bed at night, where you will not be disturbed or interrupted. Okay, now close your eyes and repeat out loud so that you may hear your own words the written statement of the amount of money you intend to accumulate, the time limit for its accumulation, and a description of the service or merchandise you intend to give in return for the money. As you carry out these instructions, see yourself already in possession of the money. Okay, so let me pause right there. For me personally, I'll let you know where I'm at in that first step. So, I got my goal card written down, right? I just, even 100 episodes later, I've just started getting emotionally involved with the goal, twice a day. Okay, so I'm probably only a week of getting emotionally involved with the goal. So even though I've been reading it and I've been preaching it, I haven't been doing, what he's suggesting. But secondly, another big thing, right? Do I am I seeing, yeah, I'm reading the statement, right? Yeah, I'm visualizing the money in my bank account. So what I do is I close my eyes and I truly visualize, how the amount of money that I wrote down on my goal card literally in my bank account. I don't visualize it as cash because truthfully, I've been kind of grown up in this world of just mobile banking, but That's what I'm visualizing. But the question is, am I visualizing or saying out loud a description of the service I intend to give in return for the money? Right? Is that the key right there? And or am I, just expecting money to come to me, or am I also visualizing every night what I intend to give in return for this money? Okay, so he says, for example, suppose that you intend to accumulate $50,000 by the 1st of January, 5 years hence, that you intend to give personal services in return for the money in the capacity of a salesman. Your written statement of your purpose should be similar to the following. By the first day of January 19th, I will have in my possession $50,000. Keep in mind, this was written in 1930 something, so that was a lot for that time, which will come to me in various amounts from time to time during the interim. In return for this money, I will give the most efficient service of which I am capable of rendering the fullest possible quantity and the best possible quality of service in the capacity of salesman of, and now describe the service or merchandise you intend to sell. Okay, so that paragraph right there, right? In return for this money, I will give what? Okay? Are you saying out loud every single night what you will give in return for that what you wrote down on your goal card? Okay? Like are you expecting money to come to you with no effort on your end, or are you changing your mindset so that it's like, okay, what can I bring to the table so that I deserve the money coming to me? He says, I believe that I'll have this money in my possession. My faith is so strong that I can now see this money before my eyes. I can touch it with my hands. It is now awaiting transfer to me at the time and in the proportion that I deliver the service I intend to render in return for it. I am awaiting a plan by which to accumulate this money, and I will follow that plan when it is received. Wow. So that was step number one. Okay. So what I recommend doing, personally, I get the book yourself. I'd open it up, go to the summary of instructions, and I'd copy, the template that he laid down. And I think the big thing that I'm personally missing here is is really making it a habit of reading this description every single night before bed, right? Like it's one thing, when you know what you got to do but you're not doing it, right? Like there's a difference there. So so yeah, I would really recommend you create this template yourself and really copy it word for word, put in what you're going to give and print it out, read it every night. Okay, so second, repeat this program night and morning until you can see in your imagination the money you intend to accumulate. Okay, so what I'd recommend if you truly want to actually do it, right? There's one thing to watch me talk about it, but if you want to actually do it, I create a habit tracker, right? I put this on my wall and I wrote down, the instructions that are laid out in this book. And every day, if I did them or didn't do them, I'm giving it either a check or an X so that I can become visually aware of, this month, how many days did I follow the instructions laid out for me, right? Because the instructions are right here in this book, right? I'm telling you word for word what they are. The question is, am I doing it every day, twice a day, once right after I wake up and once right before I go to bed? Okay, now third, place a written copy of your statement where you can see it night and morning and read it just before retiring and upon arising until it has been memorized. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, right? You got your goal card. There's two steps to it, right? You get emotionally involved with the goal and you visualize the money. You literally close your eyes until you see the money that you want into your bank account. And then additionally, I really want you to write out this statement word for word. Copy the template, go to the summary of instructions in Autosuggestion, write it out, and make it a habit. Get a habit tracker and make sure that you follow in it so that you are actually reading it before you go to bed every single night and every morning when you wake up. All right. If you want to know the secret is actually following these steps. Right. I think it'll say here where a new universe of power will come to you. Let me keep reading. He says, remember, as you carry out these instructions, that you are applying the principle of autosuggestion for the purpose of giving orders to your subconscious mind. Remember also that your subconscious mind will act only upon instructions which are emotionalized and handed over to it with feeling. Faith is the strongest and most productive of these emotions. Follow the instructions given in the chapter on faith. All right. So, what are the instructions on the chapter of faith? Do I truly? So, there's a self confidence formula. Okay. So, I think he's referring to the self confidence formula in the chapter on faith. Okay. Now, Now he says, these instructions may at first seem abstract, right? This really does not require any physical labor on your end. You can do it right from your desk. If you got a piece of paper and a pen, this is, anything that I've just asked you is not something that you can't do, outside of where you're sitting right now. If you're at a desk with a piece of paper and a pen, you can do it right now. He says, follow the instructions no matter how abstract or impractical they may at first appear to be. The time will soon come if you do as you have been instructed in spirit as well as in act, right? So, not just reading and watching this video, but actually doing the instructions. When a whole new universe of power will unfold to you. Okay. I've truthfully got a taste of what it's felt like when I really went through these instructions. And I can tell you it does make a difference, right? You will understand when you understand, but you won't get what he's saying by a whole new universe of power will unfold to you just by watching this video. You really got to follow the instructions here. Okay. So he explains that, of course, it's all right to be skeptical of these instructions right now, right? That's part of human nature. But, if you keep following these instructions, you'll finally start to get that, okay, this will become crystallized into absolute faith. And he says, you will arrive at a point where you can now say, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. All right. So he's also mentioned that a lot of philosophers will say, yes, you are the master of your fate, you are the captain of your soul. But the question is why? Why am I in control of my fate? Why am I in control of my destiny? Okay. That question is answered in this book. He says, man may become the master of himself and of his environment because he has the power to influence his own subconscious mind and through it gain the cooperation of infinite intelligence. All right, so I'm gonna say that one more time. That was a huge breakthrough when I truly understood what it meant. Right? He says, yes, a lot of people will agree. I am the master of my fate. I'm the captain of my soul. But the question is why? Right? The reason I do control the outcome, the reason that you can predict exactly that you can get rich is because you have the ability to influence your subconscious mind, and through it he says, gain the cooperation of infinite intelligence. All right. Imagine if you had infinite intelligence and all the power that is locked up or within it, at your side, right? What would that be like, Right. That's the point that I'm trying to get to by following these instructions. So he says that this chapter is the keystone to the art of the philosophy, right? He says the instructions contained in this chapter must be understood and applied with persistence if you are to succeed in transmuting desire into money. Okay, so it's not something that you do once, it's not something that you do twice, it's something that you truly gotta do every single day with persistence, right? This is not hard. I'm asking you to read a index card with what it is that you want written down, and I'm asking you to read a written statement of, the money that you're going to get, what you're going to give for it, right? I'm asking you to essentially read two pieces of literature that you have created every single night and every single morning, right? That's really comes down like this whole like pages and all that. Like that's what it really is asking for, right? Is that really hard to do? No. But the question is, if actually a good quote I remember. I think it was Jim Rohn. It's easy to do. It's also easy not to do, right? For me, I never stuck to it until I finally built a habit tracker and I started marking every day that I did it and every day that I didn't. At least that in this way, I can see when I missed a day and when I didn't. Because this is something that you want to become a habit. Okay. So he says, finally, to wrap this up, the actual performance of transmuting desire into money involves the use of autosuggestion as an agency by which one may reach and influence the subconscious mind. The other principles, right, every other principle in this book are simply tools with which to apply autosuggestion. Okay, so there's this law of autosuggestion. I forget what the exact definition of that law is, but everything that we're doing in this book is just a different angle of applying autosuggestion in the certain way that's going to help us get rich. So autosuggestion, he says in big bold letters, is the medium for influencing the subconscious mind. So every other principle is simply another tool with which you can apply autosuggestion, which is the medium to influence the subconscious mind. Okay, so what does that mean, right? What we're doing with all 13 principles in this book is, we have different tools, different principles, different chapters, right? And at the end of the day, what we're doing with this book, with these instructions, is properly influencing our subconscious mind so that we are taking the right actions so that we can get what it is that we want. And we can definitely get that. Okay? So that's pretty cool. He says, keep this thought in mind, and you will at times be conscious of the important part of the principle of autosuggestion is to play in your efforts to accumulate money through the methods described in this book. Carry out these instructions as though you were a small child, right? He says, inject into your effort the faith of a child, right? Just don't don't listen to even my word on it. Understand that there are, mentors that are rich, more than I can even say. And they have read the same book. They've applied the same philosophy with persistence, and they got exactly what it is that they want. Right? You really got to take a leap of faith here. And I'm not asking you to do a whole lot. That's crazy. Okay, he says, after you read the entire book, come back to this chapter and follow in spirit and in action this instruction. Now, he says to read the entire chapter aloud once every night until you become thoroughly convinced that the principle of autosuggestion is sound, that it will accomplish for you all that it has been claimed for it. As you read, underscore with a pencil every sentence which impresses you favorably. Follow the foregoing instruction to the letter, and it will open the way for a complete understanding and mastery of the principle of success. Okay, so me personally, this is another thing that I haven't fully done, right? I haven't read this chapter every night out loud. I've read it, to myself every night for a time being. I'd say I probably only read it 3 times out loud, and it was when I was doing these lives. So, I something that I definitely want to ask my mentor about whether he, read it out loud or just to himself. But I will say, me reading it out loud and just hearing my own words talk about this chapter, it really did open up a lot of different angles that I truly didn't understand from what he was saying in this chapter on autosuggestion. So yeah, that's the conversation today on auto suggestion. And I really appreciate you all for watching. So let me know, what you learned, what you like from this conversation. And if there was any breakthroughs, that you were like, damn, I'm really not doing the instructions to the T like he's saying, right? Like, let me know, because I definitely was not either. And there's still some more things I got to really habitualize on. So um that's the conversation today. I wanted to thank you all for watching, and I'll leave you with this: until we meet again in time and space. Bye, everybody, for now.